All right, congratulations, you all have made it this far. This is our final video. So welcome back. This is Debbie from Project 39 MIDI Albums, and this is the final video of the Hip Hooray tutorial. We're going to be doing the spine, the front, and the back covers, and we're going to work on these inserts. So let's get started. So I have a piece for the spine. This is 2 3/8 by 8 3/8. This is 2 1/8 by 8. I'm going to put that on there, center it. Now, if you were going to do a spine dangle, come on, glue. This would be a good time to add whatever you're going to add your spine dangle. I am not, just because there are other people that are so much better at it than I am. So I'm just going to center this on here. To me, it's very important when you're doing covers, any part of the cover, that you add enough glue and make sure it is attached, especially at the corners. And that includes doing a good job of burnishing it. A sticker would look nice on here, so I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to add some glue and put this down. Then we're going to do the back cover. You know something about this Graphic 45 collection? A lot of times when I'm doing a back cover, I like to have the words. You know how they have the upside down, right? Yeah, make sure you don't put it on upside down. There are no pages with the words on it, which is just interesting to me. It's not a bad thing. It's good to do things different sometimes. Alrighty, and make sure you get those edges down. All right, now let's do the back cover. So I have this piece for the back cover. It is 7 7/8 by 8 3/8. I am going to cut it at 5 inches. And I'm going to put this on the bottom. Which do I want? I'm going to put it on the bottom with the confetti. To me, it's a weight thing. Weight, not heavy weight, but weight. What your eyes feel is going to be heavier. So something with a pattern, to me, is a heavier weight than something than just a plain cardstock. Now this pattern paper actually has sort of a texture to it. If I had a solid one, that would be lighter to me than this one. And that might just be me. All right, 1/16 of an inch. Burnish it real well. Especially at the corners. All right, now this piece will go right, put it up against that piece. There we go. Looks perfect. And then I have this that I think I'm going to put on a piece of scrap cardstock. I mean, we really should have some scrap thin pieces of cardstock, but I cleaned up last night and I might have tossed all my thin pieces. So anyhow, I'm going to find a piece. Oh, see? I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to put it on the cardstock and then we'll put that in the center. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so I've taken this Hip Hip Hooray, cut it down just a little bit, glued it on some cardstock. I'm going to add a heck of a lot of glue because I don't want it to go anywhere. And I will put this on. And burnish. All right, now, so this came from the sticker sheet. I am going to glue it onto a piece of cardstock. And I'll just use my scissors because the edges are going to be covered up, and I'll show you why in a second. And also because this is sticking out a little bit, I'm going to sort of put some spacers in so it's all one layer. You probably don't have to do this. Oops. There we go. All right. So like this is 2 layers, and if you put this on, it'll be cattywampus. I'm going to add 1 layer of cardstock and another layer because there's 2 layers here. Actually, I'll put that one on the bottom. And then add more to here. To there. Doesn't have to be pretty because we're going to cover it. I'm going to take this frame, and that's going to go on top of that. So I'm going to add glue to the frame. Put it on our little sticker. Add glue to the back. And center it. There we go. Oh, so cute, 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 cute. All right, there's the back cover. We're getting closer to completing the album. We're going to work on the front cover. So this piece of blue patterned paper from the Solids is 7 7/8 by 8 3/8. And the confetti paper is 7.5 by 8, but I'm going to cut it down, or I'm going to cover it actually by a 3-inch piece of yellow solid. All right, so I went and cut the center out of that blue paper because I'm still doing some matting and wanted to make sure I had enough. I'm going to cut, so this piece is 3 inches by 7 and 7.5. Is that right? Yep. I'm going to cut off about 2.5 inches from here. Just, I don't know if I need it, but I don't need the extra dimension on there. And then I'll glue this piece down onto the blue. So obviously I just need to go around the perimeter, or just really the bottom. So there will be about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. I wanted that blue to show because it's such a pretty color. And then I'll glue this to the top. I will overlap these so I can put glue around the perimeter. I would not want to use the polka dot yellow because it's just too much pattern right now. So we'll match it up at the side and at the top. And I was originally going to take from the either the balloons or the Hip Hooray, but I just felt like it was a little too much pattern. So I think I had cut this off somewhere. It's just a piece of the blue paper that is about not quite 1/8 of an inch. Actually, it's easier if when I'm gluing something real small, just take the glue and run a strip right next to what I'm going to glue it onto. And then that piece will butt right up against it, and there we go. All right, so there is that. Okay, before I go too far, I am going to use some of the rub-ons because I'm going to put this at the top, but I'd like some of the rub-ons just to help, just to add an extra layer. I'm gonna grab my stapler. We're going to be using a lot of the rub-ons coming up very soon. Let me look at the other rub-on page. Yes, I thought so. So there is more of the rub-ons, which I thought there was, but I wanted to make sure. All right, I'm going to cut. So again, if you didn't see before, the reason I staple it is because I want the backing paper to stay with the rub-ons. There's some confetti in here I'm cutting around. I will add the confetti but later. And this way the backing paper stays exactly where I want it to be. I'm going to cut some of this confetti out because that would be fun. And I always like to have the backing paper. All right, it didn't stay on there. But I do like to have the backing paper because it just helps. Maybe it's me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I always feel like it's easier if I keep the backing paper with it. I'm also going to cut out this XO. Okay. And I don't need the XO and the Celebrate With Me here. Move that out of the way, move that out of the way, grab my bone folder. Oops, there's some X's and O's there. I don't need those either. All right, so now I have this part. Do I want to do it all? Well, it's difficult to actually cut it apart. So I'm just going to do it all on this side. I'm just wondering what I'll balance it out with on that side, but I have an idea. All right, so I'm going to just put this down. Go for it. I'm putting down a piece of paper because my work surface has some texture to it, and it's just easier if you do it without. There we go. And I'm going to take this. Just rub it, make sure it's all down. Oh, don't you love it? Okay. I have some confetti here. I'll just add more confetti to that top corner just because I want to balance out all of this. Okay, we are having a party. All right, we're getting there. Now we're going to do something. Oh, wait, let's do another one. We're going to wait on this because I want to make sure I get the placement right. Okay. So I took one of the frames, and we're going to do the second one. I took one of the frames and one of the pictures, it was a cut apart. It was like this, but the opposite. I put on some vellum because I wanted to tone it down. And then I put on some the sequins, and then I put the acetate on the frame, and then I glued it all together. We're going to do one together. We're going to do this one because we're going to layer these two pieces. So let's start with, I already put score tape around on the back of this. The top and bottom, they're all the same. Now that I put the score tape on, I'm going to peel off the backing paper and I'm going to put on acetate. Now, you know, if you don't have acetate, sometimes you can use packaging. You know how it's got plastic on the cover of your whatever you buy? You might be able to cut that apart. But I have acetate. Actually, it's not acetate. What is it? It is transparency for overhead projectors. Some of you may not even know what I'm talking about, but some of you do. I'm putting that down. All right, we're good. Transparency for overhead projectors. I'm dating myself. All right. I'm going to put this down, but I'm gonna use some double-sided adhesive just because it's gonna go on the transparency on the acetate, and sometimes glue doesn't stick. Now I trust that, oh, there's already some there, and there's already some there. I trust art glitter glue for everything, and I'm pretty sure it would stick, but I would hate to have it not stick. So, all right, I'm going to put one down on the side. Then I'm going to put a piece on the bottom. Ooh, this is too big. And that actually might be too small. All right, so I've already got some double-sided adhesive on there. So I'm going to add some glue as well. Okay. Perfect. I don't know if you can see it, but there is double-sided adhesive. Before I go any further, I'm going to take my little I'm going to take my little glue thingy and just go along the edge just to make sure that if I have any double-sided adhesive, it's covered. Okay, so we've got that. Now I'm going to grab my little jar of sequins. Not a jar, but I put some in a little container. Jar lid. And then I am going to flatten this all out, and I am going to glue on, good, that'll fit, barely, but it'll fit, some vellum. So go around the perimeter. And put my vellum on. And then I will put my picture down. Good. Add some more glue. And there, we've got a shaker. All right, so now we've got our two shakers we can put on our cover. But this one, so I'm going to overlap them. And so one needs to be built up underneath. So I'm going to cut some chipboard for that. Okay, a couple things we're going to do here. We're going to glue this banner up at the top. And I've already put on dimensional adhesive. So this banner is going to go on top of that one. So I want to make sure I get it right. So even if we end up cutting some of that off, that's okay. I'm going to glue a little bit of this down. So this was one of the pieces that came from the ephemera. So like that. So like I said, we're going to cut some of that off. That's okay. I put dimensionals on this. Kind of just gently put it down while I all right, hooray. hooray. Hooray is going to go over to the side. I'm going to cut off this part of the hip, the part that's got the bow on it. And it's going to underlap there. All right, hip hooray. Okay. Some of this I'm going to cut off, but some I'm not. It's okay if it overlaps a little bit because the book cover, although okay. Anyhow, now we're going to glue this piece down. This is going to go right up to the hip hooray. Oh, before I do that, we're gonna add some XOXO just to add some texture. I'm not so worried about over here. All right, then we're going to glue this piece down. There we go. Okay, now this is going to overlap on the green frame. I'm going to glue this fence down first. And the fence is going to come down below the blue because, again, some of it's going to go on the cover of the book, which 1/8 of an inch will show. There we go, like that. Okay, so yes, this is going to overlap. I cut a couple of pieces of chipboard. I'm going to glue these down now. You, again, could use foam. And the reason for this chipboard is just so it's at the same level, same height as this piece, so we can glue this down. And this is going to be about 1/4 inch from the confetti paper and uh, 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the blue paper. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, let's do some trimming. I'm going to cut off this. There, we'll go like that. Go like that. I'll leave those pieces on. And can I add this back to there? Yes, I can. So I'm going to take one of these bows and just glue it right on the top here, just so it looks a little more finished. Just like that. Oh, cute, cute, cute. All right, at this point I'm going to glue it onto the book. So before you do that, make sure you have the right orientation. It's a little difficult with all the layers, but I still prefer to do it this way than putting it on the book. Although I could have put it all on and then put on the frames. So, live and learn. All right. Now, let's add a couple more elements. We got her. We got him. We have presents. We have balloons. We have more presents. We have more balloons. I feel like that's too much. I'm going to glue her there. I know the presents are going to go there. And I don't want the balloons in the center. All right, so balloons will go on here. Presents will go here. Another present will go under here. If you need to, you can cut some of it off. Just adds another layer of dimension. Do I want them the same level? So what I like to do is, if I'm not sure, I will take a picture and then look at it that way. Whether or not I want him up there or down here. I think I'm going to put him down here because she could be looking down. So let's add some glue there. If you wanted to, you could add some dimensional adhesive. And we'll add some to his head. Yeah. And there we go. Can you see it? Cute. You'll probably see it in other photos later on. Okay, there's the cover. And for the hidden photo mats, I added a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch strips on both sides that will show. So on the ones that are side loading pages, and the pages by themselves, the side loading pages are 7.5 by 7.5. I added some decorative paper that is a 1/2 inch by 7 3/8 on both sides. And for the top loading pages, which are 6 3/4 by 8 3/8, I added decorative paper that is 6 5/8 by 3/4. Again, on both sides, I just used the stripe paper as you could see from the photos. And then I went around, and for the side loading inserts, I just put some holes and eyelet and tied some of the ribbon in through there and tied a little string with one of the charms on each of those. I didn't do any for the top loading pages, but you can if you want to. And finally, for the spine, I found this scrap of paper that had a bunny opening a present. I glued that on the back of one of the chipboard frames, and I glued that onto the spine. Later on, you might see it in some of the final pictures, but I did find a little chipboard Hip Hooray, and I glued that on top of that frame. And that is it. You might want to go back to the walkthrough and see how I decorated the pages with some of the chipboard and stickers and ribbons and tags and whatever. But otherwise, do it as you want. I want to take this opportunity to thank Julie from Scrap and Create for the opportunity to be a guest designer. And thank you all for hanging around with me for a couple of days while we made a mini album. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, the best thing you could do to show me you appreciate it is hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe. So thank you again so much, and have a fabulous day.